Hello and welcome to round one. How do I feel about this? Well, it has wombo combo. On the draw, I think we keep it. Like, this protects us from some early drops. We have the cultist staff. If we draw a spirit and a couple lands, we can trigger it. We've already got this dude. This hand just basically wants a land to be good. And provided we hit that, we've got 4 power of first strike on the defense. That's not bad. So we will keep. We will keep. Wouldn't mind hitting a blue land, but again, ideally we have to draw some number of lands, but we should hit at least one by turn 3. I think we're at like 74% to do so with the 2-lander on the draw. Maybe it's a little lower than that. I have a tendency on stream to bust out a calculator and figure out what the odds are to actually draw the thing that you need. And after having done it so much, it makes me feel pretty comfortable keeping 2-landers on the draw. I'd probably still keep this on the play, although I'm a little nervous about it. Eh? Buddy, guy, friend? Well, that is a priest, but I mean, we made the deck so we could play Lone Rider. Let's play the Lone Rider. It's called Lone Rider because he wants to borrow some money for a new horse, because this one's got tentacles growing on it. It's like, can I get a loan? Rider? Right, they had an answer. That's fine. We have another dude. We also didn't hit the land. A statistical anomaly, you might call that. Yeah, this is actually worst case scenario. The worst part is they've probably got some of the ironclad doofuses to get that boon of Emrakul back. And you know what, Emrakul, I don't want your boon. Whatever it is that you're doing to this thing, I don't want it. Not interested. Does this priest have a sickle? Is that like what her staff is? It's pretty terrifying. And see, this Cathar has a big shield and a spear, not just a dagger. She's ready to stab somebody in the face. Because she's steadfast. She also apparently has a shard of broken glass. Captain No Blocks. Stop having things. That's a really good thing for you to have. That's a really good thing for you to have. So the scary thing is what? That. We're going to need to kill that. We can probably kill that with a Silver Strike and life will be good. We can slow things right down like a record baby, right round with this Heretic Cathar. So they've got to have 2 creatures to really wreck us. And I think they're still going to attack with the flyer next turn. And even if they do wreck us, they're 3 for 1ing themselves, and I can still Silver Strike the flyer, and life is okay. You know? It's not the end of the world. Although this card is quite scary. I had a chance to play with this at the GP, and it was good. What's neat here is Talia will make that Ghoul Steed enter the battlefield tapped. Just kind of her doing what she do. This is basically perfect. It's a little obvious I have something, especially when I don't tap it. But if they don't attack with it, I'll just tap it into turn. Like, it's too good for us not to try something here. And the neato part is if they don't attack in with it, I can play the Nibblegast Herald, tap her down, tap down this, and actually have a swing against them. Okay, that is good for you to flip. Yeah, I get it. Why is he not tapping my stuff? I don't understand. It's because I have a silver strike. I totally have one. You thinking about should you play around it or am I just an idiot? It could be both. It could be both. Get silver struck. They got my courageous outrider. It doesn't seem very courageous of them. Closer to delirium. Again, Home Slice can turn that on one day. Guess who's getting tapped next turn? So the question is here, do we want to play the Pious Evangel and gain some life, or do we want to just start attacking for 2 in the air? And I think we want to attack for 2 in the air. And also prevent these from attacking. Yeah, I like this. If this was the other equipment and we could equip it for 2, that'd be great. But it's not and we can't, so... What a world. What a cruel, cruel world. So now we'll start using that priest. Given we can kind of freely fish for a combat trick here, I don't see any reason not to tap down the Accursed Witch. Because if they attack with the Cathar, they have a combat trick, and we can just equip Talia next turn, or play this idiot. Like, sure, block it, use a trick. So what my opponent doesn't know is that they could get in for 2 damage here if they wanted to. They certainly don't have to, but they could. Okay. Alright, more lands are good. That means we could play the Faithbearer Paladin. I actually kind of like that because it'll get in an attack next turn. And it lets me use most of my mana. And then once like we hit one more land, we can get the Evangel going and shenanigans. Because I don't need to tap a blocker here for a little Nibblegast Herald to get in. I am putting myself a little weak to them having a removal spell for the priest. But a suited up paladin will go a long way. Although I guess that's going to be a problem eventually. And we don't really have any more removal spells. So I might should just be going full on, hit them in the face as fast and as hard as you can. Because they are going to kill me. Two damage isn't exactly finishing this game, and they probably have some removal spells in their deck. So what does our clock look like if I play the Geist? If they have any creature, this guy's attacks may be turned off, which would obviously suck. If I play the Geist, instead, I start hitting for 4 a turn, which the staff could turn into 6 a turn, and that means in 3 turns I can kill them. I think I probably need to take that route. And let's try to kill them in the air before they can do anything. Like, the good news is, until they deal with Talia, any more creatures that they play are going to come into play tapped. I guess here they're just wanting to get the drainage going from the Accursed Witch and to mill for their other dude. Because it does lessen my clock a little bit. But I'm not taking 5. They've got some good white cards. Okay. And Zestrangia. Okay. That makes me feel better about going for the Air Force line, because Zestrangia is going to cause problems for us. Now they've got to decide what they want to kill between the Priest, the Flyers that are hitting them, or the Talia, which is slowing them down. Which is a tough decision. The best decision for them is probably to wait until my turn and do it, because it will at least keep me off from equipping the staff to one of the Flyers. But doing it now lets me put the staff on the other Flyer and at least start hitting for 4, if that's what I want to do. Yeah, and they want to race. They want to race. Right. We can race. Right. That is not necessarily good, but we'll put this on the biggest guy, so we put this out of range of throttle and start 6 a turn in the air. Could also just move it back to Talia for Uber blocks. But I'll do that once I run out of cards. The life gain from this little dude may be relevant. Like, they can hit me for 5 here. They can hit me for 6 here. Or just the 5. That's fine. That is a really scary creature that you have there. And it's going to wreck me, and there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so does it exile them? It does. Okay, so I have to kill you right now. That's going to be difficult. So if I swing team, we hit for 6, 7, 8, 9. Then they swing back and exile something. That's not good. That is, in fact, the opposite of good. It's probably all that I've got. That, and we might be able to hit a Toppelgeist next turn. So I'd be taking 6, 11. I can block this and that. Alright, it's almost game over time. This is truly terrifying, and I had forgotten all about that card and tend to ignore it because it was so bad in Shadows, but it doesn't look like it's bad anymore. Okay. I thought this was what they might do. So that actually lets me get in an extra point of damage here. So I think we're drawing to Toppelgeist as our out now. And we're going to need it pretty quick. Okay, if they draw Topple Angel off the top, there's really nothing we can do about it. Because that's 15, boys and girls. Alright. Alright. Let's not forget we were stuck on mana there for a good long while, and I think that likely had something to do with him being able to take us over. So Convolute seems pretty good against somebody that's playing multiple 6 mana cards, or 6 mana plus cards. The Silent Observer seems reasonable-ish too, and Displace doesn't seem terrible. But it's very expensive to keep up. I definitely want the Convolute. I can probably run it over one of the Drag Unders. We never saw any of those either. Or the Purge. We had some good draws there, we just didn't hit them. I'm wondering if we want the Cathar over the Fiendbinder when we're going on the play. It just blocks so poorly, but when we're on the play, it's more likely to be attacking. Let's give this a shot. I would like to play first, and this looks acceptable. We will keep it. Needs blue, but I think most of our hands are going to need blue. Not to mention we get to attack for 2 in the air on turn 2. It's so spirity. This is a spirited hand, you might say. And it's only getting more spirited from here. So if we could play the Pious Evangel here and use most of our mana. Or we could force damage with the Guardian of Pilgrims. Well, it's not blocking anyway. Like, that's not what it's for. So, I think even though they're more happy to trade here than we are, rather than force the damage, I'll give them the opportunity to trade if they'd like. Because I've always got another spirit where that came from. And the life gain from this dude may be relevant. Like, we should be able to force him through next turn if we don't hit a land. Okay. You got me. That's pretty good when they're at 5 cards in hand and I'm at 3. But remember, the 2 cards that aren't in my hand are on the board attacking and blocking. They are a bit more worried about the Flyers. And just give 0 shenanigans about my Convolute. Oh, they've actually fixed the revealed cards thing. That's pretty neat. So, like, we can see that our opponent knows that we have these 2 cards. That's pretty cool. I like that. Obviously, blue mana is getting pretty valuable for us here, but there are still 7 of them left in the deck. That, again, does make the scab a little worse, but it is what it is. Alright, they know mostly what's in our hand. They know about the Convolute at the very least. So I feel like this is a relatively good start, but if we don't hit blue relatively soon, we probably cannot maintain this. Because like one decent blocker and we're in trouble. Right, well, they killed the Evangel. That's not the end of the world. This doesn't really help. But I mean, they could easily be stuck with high casting cost cards in hand. Maybe we should have moved to 9-8 for the land split on the play. It's kind of easy to look at this hand and say we're stuck with 2 blue cards. Maybe you should have, Travis, but it could have just as easily worked the other way around. Pious Evangel basically had lifelink this game. It hit them for 2 on its own and then gained us 2. It's not bad for a 3-drop. traded with one of their 3 mana spells. They've got 10 turns to deal with this guy. I'm not really interested in trading with the Graft Rats. Especially now. Yeah, that not having blue mana is really starting to point out to me that blue mana is good and not having blue mana is bad. The main reason I didn't want to trade is we know they have 2 Liliana's Elite. They could have the other dude to meld with it or whatever, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, we have 0 interest in trading with that. Also, there's the possibility we draw Shenanigans and can tap this and then get in for damage with this guy. But a Cursed Witch is going to be a problem. And if that was an island, it would be all right. But it's not. So if we don't trade with that Accursed Witch, we end up taking 6 a turn. Like, there are cards in the deck that can make that stop. We would just have to draw them. God, a blue mana would be so good. Well, at least we don't have to worry about trading this turn. Which is convenient, because we can't. That's a big hit that you've got there with your cards. And that's Plains. So at 8, we can double block that and die. I think that's going to do it for us. So let's actually look at the math real quick, because that could mean that the mana's really messed up. I still don't think it is. I think it was okay to go 10-7 when you're playing as few cards as we are, but let's see if there's a lesson that we can learn from this. So let's see, today is the 18th as we're recording this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it should take us about 4 to 5 turns to naturally draw one. So it is a statistical fluke that we have not hit one in time. We do get to draw another card. It's not actually going to do anything. 5, 6. We could trade with the Witch and then draw to 1. And then hope that we draw something. I'm not. I guess we'd need to rip that into Silver Strike for this guy, and then into Purge to kill the Witch. But there are still theoretically draws that can get us out of this if they don't just have a removal spell. So we'll finish out the game. I feel like this was a pretty good deck, though. They're just thinking of all the myriad ways they would like to destroy me. As if this isn't enough. What a monster. I'm kind of ready for the Eldrazi to just be gone. Like, we've had 4 sets of Eldrazi shenanigans. You could say I'm excited for Kaladesh. Okay, so things don't have menace now, so like, this does. So one option we have, I suppose, is to do this. That gets rid of the Elite. We're chumping here because we have to. Because it's either... I guess the other option is trade both and just leave them with a 5/6. That puts us to 2 with the witch trigger. Because I'm not going to find something else that deals with it. Bouncing this isn't a really good solution, though. I kind of feel like this is better. Like, if they have a thing, it's probably not, but... Oh, there's the thing they had. They discard a creature card. Onboard tricks are the hardest to play around. Alright. It didn't matter since we drew the staff. We were dead. Ease of A. Ease of A. In fact, being at 2, we were just dead to this if they had lands in hand anyway. Because if we traded with the witch, it would have pinged us. We're essentially at 1. Alright, well there's us getting wrecked again in an emo draft. I'm going to continue on the stream to draft and play some sealed in this format and try to get my head wrapped around it. Don't like posting double round 1 losses, but sometimes them's the breaks, man. You can get on bad streaks and such. To watch me lose some more, come check out the stream. You can find me at twitch.tv/Simulin. I play Magic a lot on that channel. I've also started playing some Eternal, which is a new card game that I'm digging quite a bit. So I will see you here next Monday and look forward to seeing you some on the stream. Thanks for tuning in, folks, here at SeemsGoodMagic.com. I will see you next Monday. You want to say goodbye, Dutch? Not really. Too busy sleeping in that box. It's kind of what cats do. We'll see you guys.